Hi, good evening to our bright parents. It's another Friday night, and we are once again live here in the Bright Parenting community. So, tonight we'll be discussing about Magkano at Paano, our dream house into a reality. And of course, please invite now your friends if they are not yet tuned in because we have a remarkable speaker for tonight, a very good friend. And she is also young. And okay, let me zoom that in. So she is Miss Architect Arian Montesilio Tan Malak. She is from AYM Designs, Architectural Designs, and she is also a mother of two and a loving wife. Ayan, no? So again, for those who are not tuned in yet, so please come in because we are starting already in a few minutes. Our guest speaker is already here tonight. So please invite your friends to come in already. Okay, so why this topic, no? Yung napag-isipan ko na i-invite si Miss Arian kasi it's very common for us na it's a dream na magkaroon ng house or a dream home, and how can we make that into a reality? So, okay, let me just reintroduce myself. So I'm Jen. I'm your host for Bright Parenting, and this is a community of mom and dads who loves to build a brighter future for their family. And I am a financial advisor for the past 13 years, and I specialize in retirement, health planning, as well as business and succession planning. All right. So tonight, we have our special guest, architect Arian Montesilio of AYM Designs. So you can check her out in her Facebook page and see some of her designs in case you're looking for an architect or planning to build your home. So without further ado, let me bring in architect Arian. Ayan.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, bright parents.
Hi,
Hi,
Architect
Winnie.
Arian. It's so nice to have you tonight. So we have our viewers na. Ayan, they're already greeting us. So,
Hello, good evening, everyone.
yes. So, yan, si Jaisal yan. Architect Arian, our topic for tonight is magkano at paano to build our dream home. So, Architect Arian, can you share to us a little about yourself and your experience?
I have been practicing architecture for 10 years already. Originally, I came from Cebu. I studied in San Carlos, University of San Carlos, and then I met you, Jen, right after graduating, and then we became friends ever since. So, in my 10 years of practice, I think we focused more on my personal I focus more on architecture for residential planning, residential design and interiors, commercial for restaurants and cafes, mga ganon, and then office planning, office interiors as well. So I think when you're into this kind of profession, there are certain types of different kinds of categories in construction, in design. So mine is more on residential and commercial. So,
I see.
yeah.
So, Architect Arian, siguro my first question is for tonight. Why do you think there is a need ba talaga na we get sample no to build a home? Kasi minsan isip natin, to save up, I will just get na lang a foreman and hindi na lang ako magpa-design. Or why do we need to seek ba parang professional advice or a tip from an architect?
Well, if you want to save on the cost, it's very understandable that we want to proceed with getting a foreman and we don't get an architect or a designer for our project, for example. It's okay naman, but the problem is sometimes because we did not seek professional help, baka naman mas lalong magastos yung construction because parang build here and then you redo it again. Ganun. And then sometimes when you look at the kanang mga mga nasa internet, for example, from
Yes.
Pinterest, from magazines, it doesn't necessarily fit your space. And then baka naman ma-chop suey, for example, because
Yes.
you on this corner you did something from this area, and then for this corner you did something that you found on another source ganun. So I think it's really better to get a professional because number one, we studied for it. It's our um it's our area of expertise, and um also you get your value for it's value for the value of your money makukuha mo because you got professionals to do your to do your residential
Right.
project or any other projects.
Right. So realistically, Architect Arian, how much is it ba to build or magkano ba kailangan i-budget? And what is your advice to, let's say, starting families in building their home?
So, if we just got married, for example, and we don't have a lot of savings I would recommend that maybe first we stay with our in-laws or our parents first, divide the house. That's what I did actually. That's what we did right now. So we invested first in our lot. So we don't have our own home right now. I've been doing the planning and layout of our house, but we don't have our house yet. So because we still need the budget, right? So we invested first on our lot, and then we did renovate our small space. We divided the house of my parents because it's just my mom and dad. So we stayed here for the meantime, and sa iba they invested on small townhouses or condo
Yes.
because medyo very very mahal naman mag-build right away ng house. So the budget right now is very realistic budget right now is maybe
Yes.
around 25,000 per square meter, but that's just the very very simple interiors. Probably na finish na lahat, like there's already tiles, there's already the ceiling job is done, the painting works, everything is there, but maybe it's not the premium materials. Although parang ano siya sa construction, example, it's your living room and your kitchen and your master's bedroom, so you invest more on that area, and then for the other rooms, for example, you use mas affordable na mga toilet accessories, more affordable na fixtures, for example, lighting fixtures, and then medyo bongga sa living room, medyo bongga sa masters. So on the service area naman, you can use China tiles, for example, mas affordable, and then for the living room, maybe some Italian tiles. So it really depends on number one, the design of the house,
Right.
the design of your interiors, especially because we're thinking that basta construction na yung the structural part is the expensive part. Actually, the more expensive part is your interiors. Not really
Mm,
because for the construction, medyo ma-count mo na yung ma-estimate mo na yung cost. Because yung specification sa engineers, for example, yung mga kabilya, mga CHB, for example,
yes.
may cost na talaga yan. So, for the structural part, you can more or less estimate already. For the interiors, iba yan because when we're designing our interiors, it really depends on the style that you want. For example, you want minimalist, modern na design. So that one, mas less costly because it's more of clean lines, hindi masyadong maraming elements. But the problem din is if you want the high-end interior, so you got
Yes.
for example, your kitchen, instead of yung carpentry lang, you just paint it, you just use 3/4 marine plywood and then paint it with automotive finish or brush lang na paint. So medyo mas
Yes.
less costly. But if you get a modular supplier, and there are different suppliers, there's medyo low cost, no, medyo mid-end, high-end. So that will really depend on your budget. And then if you use Italian tiles, etc. So from the 25,000 per square, more or less, it can rise up to even 35, 40, or 50,000 per square meter,
Wow.
depending on your budget or the design of your house, the materials that you use, the roofing that you use. So there's a difference between using metal roofing and asphalt shingles, for example. There's a difference between using hardwood or laminated flooring, or China tiles and high-end Italian tiles. So, and then brands na you get from China, or are you getting, because there's this water closet that you can buy. Nice na siya, maybe around 9 to 20,000 range. So that's your water closet. But there's also a 50,000 to 100,000 water closet. So yun talaga, there's really a the anong tawag nito, depends talaga sa sa gusto nyo
Right.
and your budget. But if you're working with a professional and you have a certain budget, pwede niyong magawan ng paraan na, okay, here we're gonna spend here this much. So here, ano tayo, mga 30,000 per square. But on our service area, can we do it just maybe 18, 20,000 per square meter? So parang laban bawi lang gadon.
Right, right. So, ayan, no, si Miss Jaisal, she's very inspired daw. Magpagawa na daw talaga siya in the near future, Architect Arian. So, anyways, Architect Arian, I wanted to ask, kasi sometimes, or most of the time, we hear of parents na they start building their home when the kids have already grown up na, kasi that's the time na nakapag-ipon na rin sila. So, what is your advice on that?
Um, I know realistically it's really hard to save up for your house. I think for me personally, I would suggest that you build as soon as you can, because the you can of course, di ba, ang priority natin business, etc. But a lot of my clients, no, they are building their dream houses at the age of 45, 50, even 60 years old. And then by that time, their children are already in college, or about
Yes.
to get married, or have already married. So,
Yes.
sayang yung bahay na hindi siya ma-make use. So, for me, there are lots of ways to do it. Number one is you can build, anong tawag nito? Parang naka-face by face. So, maybe you have your phase one, and then you phase two. So, if limited pa yung budget, then you just design the house to a specific and then you just add on in the near future, parang ganun. So for me, it would be best to build as soon as possible, because the cost every year sa construction is
Right.
it's going up every year. So dati, 3 million house is already very nice. Now the an 8 million house, we finished an 8 million house just recently, early this year. That's
Yes.
a 200 plus square meter lot. So just a 200 square meter lot. Ay, mga
Yes.
200, almost 300 square meters. It's a two-story house, around 220 to 250 square meters. That's the total floor area of that residence. And then yung design namin, hindi siya masyadong bongga talaga. Very simple, minimalist, nice pa rin. But our cost, siguro nasa mga 30 to 35,000 per square, depending on the area. So, mga siguro nasa 8 million yung total cost sa project.
Wow, that's a two-story house,
Two-story
architect,
house,
no?
almost 300 square meters na house, and then mga around 200 to 250 square meters yung total floor area. So if you think about it, if you're going to build for a 400 square meter to 500 square meter house
Wow.
on a 400 to 1,000 square meter lot, probably would need at least maybe mga 12 to 15 or more
Wow.
to build your
Yeah.
house.
Right,
Sa ngayon
right.
sa rate natin ngayon, sa construction rate ngayon.
Grabe pala din, Arian, no? Yung cost, hindi na
Kaya
talaga
hindi pa
biro,
kami
no?
nakabahay. Pero
Kailangan
that's
din
our
talaga mag-ipon.
priority. Maybe practical talaga siguro mag-loan, or may ano siguro is partially loan and partially personal money, liquid money na
Yes.
na-save nyo over the years. Don't rush, but maybe as soon as you can. Because really, if nasa 25 to 40,000 per square per square meter yung cost ngayon, that's including the structural and the interiors, how much more 10 years, 15 years from now? And then hindi na ma-enjoy
Right.
sa kids ba? So if you're a starting family, um, ano lang, you can start with the yung small townhouses, ganun, but it's really best to save up for your house. I know it's a dead investment, but yung kapalit na memories you build in that
Right.
house, for me, it's timeless pa rin. So, kahit dead investment, it's your house. Hindi na yun mawala. Parang ganun.
Right.
You just have
And
to.
Architect Arian, you're so good in maximizing spaces also. And I'd like to share some of Architect Arian's work in AYM design. So these are very beautiful works, Architect, no? So to the left, it's ano ba ito, outdoor type of uh, home. And then container type. Sorry, hindi pala na-flash a screen. Ayan, ayan. So, there, architect. So, maybe you can share to us like how much like these houses or homes would cost.
For that one on the right, that's around 700 square meters of floor area, so that's quite big. And then our lot, I would also suggest to everyone that if okay din and if kaya sa budget, better you get the flat lot because this one po
Mm.
is sloping yung terrain niya. So we spent a lot on the structural part, the retaining walls, and a lot of the earthworks, earth moving went to the structural design. So very very it's still ongoing. So sa tingin ko po nasa mga siguro 40 30 to 40
Wow.
million at least for this house. And then the one on the left is a farmhouse that's also about to be constructed. We just started with the ano pa lang, the structural and the container van. That's a farmhouse. So hindi siya practical for your future house na yun na talaga, but for a weekend home, siguro nasa ano pa rin yan, mga maybe 2 million, including the interiors. But if you're just looking at the
Mm.
structural, not so much yung cost. But we designed the interiors kasi, so that's going to range around 1.5 to 2M plus. So
Right,
we did,
right, right.
because we did the
And,
interiors. Yeah, just like that one on the left, that's actually inside the container house. That
wow.
that house, that room over there, that's part of the container house. And then the other one yung sa 700 square meter residence. It's a multi-level. We designed it within naka-split level along the slope or the contour of the lot to save up with the cost sa construction. Pero even if medyo taas talaga yung price pag sloping yung terrain. So
Right.
if ever better talaga yung medyo flat lang na lot.
Ayan, no? So, some of design ni Architect Arian, ito are these like home and
Yeah, those mini are also actually inside the residential the exterior perspective that you showed later. The one on the left is their lanai, so they made a parang semi bar, semi kitchenette in their lanai in the basement, and then the one on the right is their very very high ceiling na living room na makita mo yung dining nasa taas. So, naka-split level
wow.
siya because from the back portion, yung carport nila, they enter from there. And then the main door is on the left. So, naka-split level. The other rooms are nasa bottom pa. And then we have another basement, which is the one on the left sa Lanay.
Very nice, Architect Arian. Your works are very beautiful. And
Thank you.
Architect Arian, I just wanted to ask, so for example, ano naman, no, in terms of, let's say, couple who are about to retire, like, I heard kasi in, like, international setting daw, they move at least 3 times when they got married, then growing family, and then they downsize when they get older. So, how about ano ba yung recommendation mo? Is that also applicable here in the Philippine setting? Or let's say, one time fit all? Ano ba dapat? Ayan, may mga comments tayo here. Mahal ng what about condo units? Pwede bang pang long term? Oh, we have one question from our bright parent din. Wow, mahal na magpa-build ngayon. So what about condo units? So pwede bang pang long term? Thank you, Jen, for that
Okay
question.
naman po ang condo, Ma'am Jan, for the long-term use. It's still okay, but there's really, for me lang, there's a difference if you're building a house talaga because you have a backyard, a front yard, a garden. Sa condo kasi medyo limited yung space nyo, and then a lot of my clients actually lived in condos before and then built their homes now because limited talaga yung space. You buy a condo with a one bedroom, usually nasa 30 square meters, 40 square meters. So, when you build a house, you can maximize your space. So, parang minsan lang, for stepping stone, siguro okay. But maybe for long term, it would really be best if you built a house or a condo na 120 square meters to 150 square meters, which cost you maybe at least 10 or more, doing the renovation for the interior and buying the condo unit as well. So, if you think about it, parang sulit na rin to invest on the lot and a house
Right.
na hindi siya part of a high-rise na structure, for example. Hindi malayo yung cost.
Yeah. So, thank you for that, Yan. So, yung question ko na, is it advisable na mag-transfer, mag-downsize? Or do you experience that with your clients ba? Yan, for example, when they started small and then towards the middle na malaki na yung family nila, lumaki yung bahay, and then towards the end, lumipat na naman sila. Yung bumibili na lang sila ng ready-made and then sell and then buy, is that a good advice? Or what is your take on that?
I think it really depends on the couple or it depends on the family. We have designed numerous houses na number one, we already, because when you design for a home, you want to think about the future. So a lot of
Right.
times, we already considered their old age. So usually, may guest room na tayo sa baba na medyo spacious because in the end, baka yung parents, pag matanda na, doon na sila sa baba. And then,
Yeah.
we also designed houses na pwede siya ma-split into two, for example. So si parents dito na, and then baka yung son or daughter nila sa main house. And then just like our house right now, my husband and I are firstborn. So, I designed our home. Hindi pa siya tapos, pero our main house is this. Example, this is our main house. We have a parang lanai common area here, and then our parents would be here. So, parang ganun. So, I was also thinking that the main house would go to probably maybe my firstborn na boy because yung second daughter ko is a girl. So, baka gusto niya dun siya sa main house and then kami na yung sa husband ko mag-renovate sa 2 units ng parents namin and then we'll make it into our smaller unit. So, parang ganun talaga. It started small, like a condo, and then you built for a bigger house. But eventually, if it's just you and your husband, you're going to
Yes.
settle in a smaller space. So, I think that's really practical. But if you have a enough space in your lot, you can design it na from the parang ganun, baka pwede nyo mabigay sa anak nyo, yung anak nyo na mag-live in the
Right.
main house, and then you go to the smaller area. So that's what I did sa aming house. And then some of my clients parang ganun pa rin. And then some din na galing sa big house, nagpa-design na into smaller houses. But still
Yes.
very spacious. Pang retirement home nila.
Right. So, Architect Arian, I know you have 2 young children there. So, how do you maximize space? Kasi you're very good with that, no? Parang interior designer ka na rin and master space saver. What are your tips for us to maximizing our space at home?
To maximize our space, we have to make our areas into multifunctional space. So, for example, our dining table is actually my work table right now, especially since COVID. So, I work from
Yes.
here. And then our super small living room is also my husband's workshop when he does something. So, parang ganun. And then our bedroom is really small. Our space right now is just around 70 square meters, excluding the car park. So that's 70 square meters is just in the ground floor because as I said earlier on, we divided our parents' home. We just took a small space because corner lot siya. So we have our own parking space and own entrance, and then my parents has their own parking space and entrance on the other side. So we did the renovation way back 2017 because it's an existing home. Just so you have an idea, I think we spent around mga 400 to 500K for renovating a 70 square meter existing house for a mga around
Mm,
that range. So medyo mataas pa rin, no, if you think about it. That's a 70 square meter house.
yes.
So hindi na kami nag-change ng tiles but we repainted everything. Naglagay ako ng ceiling because of course I wanted our house to be cozy as well. Kahit 70 square meters. So this is sort of related to townhouses and condos na
Yes.
medyo small pa. But now that we have two kids, our bedroom is really tiny. So from a queen size bed, we had to change it into a double standard na family bed. So that's smaller than queen size and a pull out. So my husband actually sleeps on the pull out, and sometimes my firstborn and me and our little girl sa taas. So it's really because small talaga yung room namin. So that's why we're really hoping that we can build our house by 2 years from now, hopefully. So maybe by next year we can start construction. Pero wala pa kaming funds. But the design is ongoing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, no, that even on renovation, that on an existing place, it would cost na pala no almost 500,000 for a 70 square meter renovation.
It can
Na
cost less. Pwede siya less,
mm,
mini, but marami kasing, because the house is really old na. So that's why we had to, renovate a lot talaga. Except the tiles and the plumbing. Parang ganun.
right, right. So, Architect Arian, what are your last tip before we end for the night? Because ang bilis ng time, no? For us,
Oo.
bright parents, how we can make our place into parang more functional, like what you mentioned. Like, is there like a certain angle, or what are your tips para it will be more functional, ayan, in terms of functionality naman versus the style?
So for functionality, for a small space, you mean, Minino, for a small
Yes.
space? Oo. Just like what I said earlier, we have to make our space ano siya, multifunctional. So, because we have limited space, so our bedroom should be parang slash work area, or our dining
Ah,
table
right, right.
slash work area. But the important part about residentials as well, na always nakakalimutan because hindi siya priority, is the back of the house. That's our service area. So, for
Mm,
small homes, parang parang always siya na nakakalimutan yung dirty kitchen. Where do you put
yes.
your food, your utility space, your mop, your brooms? So in our residential projects, for example, or even the condo interiors, we make it a point to organize our space.
Right.
We allocate a certain space for our back of the house areas such as the laundry. So sa bahay namin, for example, in the future, and also my clients right now, I designed a mini laundry room na spacious. Andun na yung counter mo. For example, you have a sink for doing the laundry. Your washer and dryer is there. And then may hanging rod na kami. So parang after ironing the clothes, you can already sort your you can already hang your clothes. Hindi na siya gawin sa maid's quarter, for example. And then if ever wala kayong house help, you enjoy the space because it's designed neatly. You organize your space, naka segregate na your yung ironing board, nakalagay siya sa certain so you organize your space. Basically, it's to prepare, or gawan mo ng preparation yung mga items for your cleaning agents, yung mga groceries mo saan ilagay. So if you have all those spaces and extra storage space, no matter how small your space is, I think it would really help you in your in organizing and making your home very functional. So if you have designed for those needs, for those I think it's going to be a very functional home for you, no matter the space, whether it's big or small.
Wow, thank you so much. It's well said, good from architect
Thank
Ariane.
you.
Yeah, she's very inspiring. No, at 33, she has her architectural firm and she's designed beautiful houses. And your tips tonight, yan, ma-apply talaga namin on how to maximize our space as well. So, on behalf of the Bright Parenting community, we would like to award you this certificate of appreciation to Miss Architect Ariane Montesilia Tanmala. So for imparting her valuable insight and brilliant presentation on the topic, Magkano at Paano our dream house into reality in this Bright Parenting webinar series given this 18th day of June in Iloilo City, presented by me, Jennifer Tan, Bright Parenting founder. Ayan, so yan, thank you so much for tonight. We really enjoyed having you. And we would like to greet advance Happy Father's Day this weekend to our dads out there. So
Thank
have a great night.
you.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you
Yan.
everyone for watching.
Bye.
Bye.